As a lot of you here might know, I have recently gotten into more trouble than I realized I would have gotten into for going after Buddhism. I did not expect that. I got suspended from Twitter for hateful conduct, and as example of one of those hateful conduct by Twitter, as one of a ban-worthy tweet that got me suspended off Twitter, was the tweet that said this, which I'm not going to mention, but thank you, Katie, for being here. Because I don't know what I can say anymore, right? So I said this and I got suspended from Twitter. And then we made the YouTube video with the same title. And then our YouTube channel, after a decade of going after Islam, Christianity, and Hinduism and receiving a 0 strikes, got its first strike ever for going after Buddhism. So at first I went, hi Fatima, hi So, hi Katie, hi Paigey. I don't know. I was like, whoa, this is like like, what is this? Is this like, can we not touch this? And a lot of people came to me and like, Armin, why are you criticizing Buddhism? That is not the point. If that's your question, then you just get out of here. Get the hell out of here. If your question is not, why is everybody sensitive about you going after Buddhism? And instead you're asking, Armin, why are you going after Buddhism? Then you just I don't know what to tell you, okay? I just don't know what to tell you. No, PG, you have no idea what you're talking. PG, you're far behind. You understand what I'm trying to say. One of the examples, one of the main tweets that Twitter told me that this is a violation of their hate of their content was each one of those things that I showed you guys on this on the list on this channel was full on suspension worthy. Right now, I don't have a Twitter account. I'll get it back though. So I thought, guys, we should not go after Buddhism anymore because it seems like we can't go after Buddhism. And then I thought, like, maybe we should just go after, maybe we could come up with something else. We go after BDSM instead of Buddhism. And we don't know what we're talking about, right? So I thought, like, guys, we'll just refer to it as BDSM. Yes, exactly. So I know what we're talking about. Oh, PG, wow. PG is very good at taking well, thank you for PG. Okay. Yeah, so we're like, guys, we love Buddhism. We love Buddhism on this channel. We don't have any problem with Buddhism. It's BDSM that we have an issue with. Okay? So, and then I was like, wait, do we have any problems with BDSM actually? So, and I went and looked and I have this general problems with BDSM or Buddhism. I don't know. Are we going to keep referring to it as BDSM? I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. Okay? So I don't know. I'm just going to say, but then I went and looked at it like, whoa, there's a lot more for us to look into this whole BDSM world. Like, I thought it was just like superstitious nonsense. And I didn't expect to all of a sudden come up with BDSM theocracies and God kings. But guys, that would be fun though. I would be okay with the BDSM theocracy. That's the only form I can't imagine. I can't imagine what that would look like. A BDSM theocracy. Yes. Yeah. Okay, we're going off tangent here. But I looked into this and I'm like, holy crap. Okay, so here's the thing. I have a problem. I'm gonna say I have a problem, and I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, you think? You think? Um no, okay, Katie. That's what I always thought. I thought BDSM is a bunch of superstitious nonsense. And that's about it. And I thought that was like problematic. It's a whole bunch of superstitious ideas that need to be destroyed, just like other superstitious ideas. But I didn't think there's like like I've been to Thailand. Okay, I've been to Thailand, and I saw like, whew, these people take their Buddha a little bit too seriously. Um, they're like they yeah, they have giant posters everywhere reminding you not to be offensive towards Buddha, like giant billboards that probably if they would put an ad on it would have been making a lot of money. Like somebody spent a lot of government budget, and apparently the government is heavily invested in making sure that BDSM is not. They take BDSM very seriously in Thailand. Okay, it's nobody can criticize or insult BDSM. Okay, in Thailand, it's very very serious. Not only you can't insult it. Okay, you can't even like celebrate it in a way that they don't like. Kind of like the Hindus. Okay, kind of like the Hindutva people. They're like, hey, look at Kelly, isn't she pretty? And they're like, that's offensive to us. And like, but we're celebrating Kelly. Like, no, this is an insult, and we're gonna come after you and everything you love now. So good luck with that. So it seems like Buddhists are like, yeah, if you have like a Buddha and merchandise, or if it's Buddha, if it's a little bit chubby and cute, or if you like Buddha is like skateboarding, like I don't. Yeah, that's not allowed. That's illegal. That's illegal. It's illegal in Thailand. Okay, so they're pretty. They get pretty butthurt over there. Buddha there, but again, so I went to Thailand. I was like, oh, okay, and there was a lot of misogyny, and also like in temple, like they have signs that says you can't go inside the temple with shorts, but they're just talking about women. They were not talking about, because I went to the temple with shorts. My legs were showing, and nobody stopped me. But they stopped women from going inside the temple for their shorts. So like, you guys, what's up with religion? And is it like, do women's skin, does it have like this radiation that just is like, women's skin is like kryptonite to everything that is sacred? Okay, women's skin is kryptonite to all things sacred. If it's exposed, there's a energy that comes out of women's skin, okay, that cancels the vibrations that is coming out of holy things, and it just diffuses them. Okay, that's why you have to need. I don't know why in every religion they like, yeah, just cover it up, just cover it up. Okay, I don't understand what's up with that. Yes, okay, so Yamigami is getting my point. Okay, so I was like, okay, god damn it, okay, Buddhism ish, okay, we should lay off Buddhism. And I was like, but you guys know, again, I have a problem, right? When people tell me that you cannot talk about something, and I'm like, okay, I go home and be like, I guess we're not going to talk about this. And then I think about it for half a second, and I'm like, you know that thing that you told me that I shouldn't be talking about? Yeah, that exactly that thing. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it a lot more than we used to, because yeah, I don't like being told not to talk about something, right? I don't like it. I just don't. It just like it irks me the wrong way. I like, yeah. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Okay. All right. Let's watch this video about Buddhism in apparently a Buddhist theocracy. And I don't know how the hell did Hindu god kings came into being in Thailand. Like when I went to Thailand, I knew about Thailand. I watched the news about Thailand sometimes, and Hinduism never came across my mind. Or when I was in Thailand, like Hindu temples were just this like some other things for some other people who are from other countries. Okay, so when I like realized like, wait, Hinduism is somehow relevant in the government, I was like, I think that's not accurate. Thailand is just Buddhism. That doesn't make any sense. But apparently the king himself is a Hindu god. I'm like, okay, is it just like Buddhism and Hinduism? Or is there a line? Like, what is this? It's just like, you guys are just making this up as you go. You're in a Buddhist country and your king is a Hindu god. How the hell does that work? What are you guys even doing? Like, does this make like you guys are just making stuff up. You guys are just making stuff up. I mean, who am I kidding? That's religion, obviously. But yeah, let's see what it's up with. Oh, so you guys, some of you actually know this. Why didn't you tell me? PJ saying name of the Thai kings are named after Lord Rama, and there was a Hindu empire. They're called, yeah, okay. But yeah, again, I didn't ever associate Thailand with Hinduism. It was just Buddhism. Buddhism started as a heretic Hindu cult by the warrior caste who didn't like being below the Brahmins. Buddhism has gods people don't know about. Yeah, but again, the god that they choose is specifically a Hindu god. Anyways, let's start from the beginning. Let me know if you hear the audio once it starts playing.
This video is brought to you by News Voice.
Okay, I don't want to... let's skip the ad part. Oh, by the way, this is the channel called Visual Politics. Let's give them some shout out for making this video. Go subscribe to them and all that.
It's essentially...
Oh my God. Where is this?
Informed. And it's totally free.
Aye.
So, get started with News Voice today for free through the link below. It's available on both Google Play and the Apple App Store.
We got their ad in
out of the way.
Well.
Let's get into today's video.
Yes.
Thailand is a country capable of attracting Buddhist monks, adventure-seeking tourists, as well as the types you might find in The Hangover Part 2, all at the same time. There are many reasons why we have all heard stories of incredible parties in Bangkok and not in other places like Brunei or Malaysia. Reasons like this one.
Thailand leads Asia in legalizing medical marijuana. Next chart. Thailand may become first in Southeast Asia to allow same-sex unions. Japan.
God damn it, Thailand. But guys, I've been to Thailand like twice right now. It's so much fun.
And times.
Oh yes, beaches, marijuana, LGBT rights. Thailand seems like the Asian version of California, but with a monarchy and one that is a little bit easier on the wallet.
Wait, you guys are saying it's blurry? It's not blurry. I'm doing 1080p.
However, lately, Thailand is in the news for headline.
Okay, guys. So this is what I knew that the Thailand protests were happening. And I was like, oh, yeah, you guys go. Like, I was in Thailand. I was like, this is like authoritarian regime. And you can't criticize the king. The king seems to be like full of himself. And it's illegal to criticize the king. People have been in jail for a long time for just saying something offhand about the king. And this seems stupid. And for years, I knew about how ridiculous it is, especially this new king, which is there's so much to make fun of the new king, and people are not allowed to make fun of him. I was like, yeah, that's stupid. So I was like, when I heard protests happening, I was like just like in the back of my mind, I was like, yay, I hope you succeed. That's stupid. I'm against theocracy and against all that authoritarianism. And I always hated the fact that Thailand was like this authoritarian regime. And finally, the Thai people are doing something about it. So just back of my even without thinking about it, I was wishing them luck. Just hoping that they succeed, right? Finally, some pushback against these idiots, right? So that was just natural reaction that I have to authoritarian regimes, with just me without thinking about it too much, hoping that they succeed. Okay, but then for some reason, nobody told me that Katniss is involved in these protests. And I'm like, what? So we have a Buddhist theocracy, Hindu god kings, a king that makes his dog the commander of the armed forces or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how that works. So it's extremely ridiculous king that doesn't even stay in the country. And Katniss as a symbol of resistance against the kings. Like, what the hell? Why are you guys not telling me about these events that are happening around the world like this? I was like, I am now in favor of these protests. I am heavily invested, and I wish, they need to win. No, guys, the video that we're watching is not blurry. I'm doing 1080p of the video. Okay? Yeah, this is pretty. I don't know what else to do. Hold on. Is the video blurry? I don't know what else to do. How about now? Is this better? It's
like this.
Look at that! Do you see that? Okay, I need to double the size of this. Do you guys see that? Oh, video is pretty low quality. What the hell do you want me to do? Oh, here. Maybe now it's going to be fixed.
Beaches, marijuana, LGBT rights. Thailand seems like the Asian version of California, but with a
Is that better now?
monarchy, and one that is a little bit easier.
The screen capture is pretty blurry. I'm just going to make it smaller then. Okay? Just is going to give the illusion that it's not blurry, even though it's the same level of blurry. Wait, how does it... Okay, hold on. Let me try something else. I know what to do. How about now? Is it better? No, okay, now it's better, isn't it? Much better? Ooh, okay, I fixed it. I fix everything. But guys, now that I fixed it, pay attention to what's happening here. Like, you see these three fingers? Oh, no audio. I thought I fixed it here. One more time. Now there's audio and it's clear. Can we now pay attention to the goddamn fingers now? Finally. Do you guys know the reference? This is in Bangkok. I've been here. I've been on these stairs. I mean, there's technically a million of them, so I don't know if I've been on these stairs. But I know exactly this is goes through the central shopping area in Bangkok, I think. But guys, do you guys know the reference here? Yes, you do? No, not Inglourious Basterds. Seriously? Come on, guys. Yes, thank you. Hunger Games, Katniss.
The protests in Thailand are making history. For the first time in decades, people are openly defying the authority of the monarchy.
Guys, I've been to Thailand when I was a teenager, and ever since then I always had knew how tight the iron fist is of the government over people's freedom of expression. So this is a big deal. Like people coming out, like people wouldn't be like, hey, do you like the king? Like, arrested! Why did you ask that question? Arrested! So even like the smaller, like people were like really terrified about even questioning like the divine authority of the king. All right. So now we have people openly protesting against him. This is like a huge jump from not being able to criticize him at all to all of a sudden people being in the street and openly protesting against his authority. Like this is like a major jump. Yes, Mockingjay. How do you guys not know that already? Like when I said Katniss, is that not like or automatically?
Al Jazeera.
To give you an idea of what we're talking about, since July 2020, thousands of Thai people have taken
Look, see this? Even here. You see this? 3 fingers, 3 fingers.
to the streets to ask for a total
Look, this is all Katniss.
change of regime, change the constitution, reform the monarchy, and hold free.
Holy crap. Look, they're walking over their pictures. Like, look at this lady, so cute, just walking over. Guys, I'm telling you, when I was in Thailand, this would have been unimaginable. And just like in public, they're doing this.
Elections. Fun fact, instead of raising their fist or hand, Thai people raise these 3 fingers.
Yes, Katniss.
And yeah, this is straight out of the Hunger Games movie.
Yes!
More about that though, later. But let's get back to our story for just now, because
Guys, when I'm telling you, okay, class in session, right? Remember when I get angry when Justin Trudeau comes and says something stupid, or when the president of the United States comes and says burning the flag should be legal? And I think a lot of Americans don't understand how their culture and their news is used as symbolism and seen. Guys, American culture, American music, American movies is taken over the planet in a way that no other culture has. No other set of ideas or values ever since the Cold War. You know, the investment in defeating communism at first was like, hey, like the capitalism is better. But after that, it just took over everywhere. Okay? And, you know, like the only thing that is now getting close, just slightly getting close to it, is maybe like Korean music and culture and movies and stuff like that. But that's just starting, okay? But American, like anywhere on the planet, like I've traveled everywhere, almost everywhere, okay? If you walk into a mall in Paris, in Berlin, in Manila, in Bangkok, anywhere in South America, anywhere in the Middle East, anywhere, okay? The odds are in your favor? No. The odds are that the music, okay, this person, I'm gonna block him. This person was spamming. Should I block him or give him a timeout? I'm just gonna, let me see. I'm gonna put you on timeout. Next time I'm gonna block you. Okay? Next time. Wait, is Fatima an admin? Yes. Thank you. Good. What was I saying? Yes. The music that plays is very likely to be American. American music. The movie, like every country, when you go to the cinema, right? There's either American movies or local movies that most people watch. It's like, for example, in Germany, there's not like German movies and American movies and also a huge interest in Chinese movies. No, it's German movies, American movies. Then you go to France, it's French movies, American movies. Okay? Now people are like maybe also paying attention to Korean movies slightly and Korean music, you know, K-pop and all. But like American culture, American ideas, again, when we say American culture, the way the values of American, so very indirectly, the American culture represents American philosophy, and American philosophy very indirectly represents Enlightenment values, right? So when you have like Katniss going out and fighting against authoritarian for freedom, I mean, the idea that this movie is popular in the United States is because it's a country that is against kings, against authoritarianism. I mean, these are products of Enlightenment values, or else this whole rebellion against authority wouldn't be this popular. It wouldn't sell if it wasn't popular, right? So I know there's like 6 degrees of separation, but very indirectly, like the American music has a lot of influence from it's very much influenced by individualism, by being independent, by being yourself, by not letting the society tell you how to behave and be like. And again, if American music is popularized in other places, these values are very indirectly being spread around the world. So this is why when we see that the countries that other places, for example, let's say in Iran, right? They're looking at countries like that are supposed to be the symbol of freedom of expression or human rights and stuff, support a country like Saudi Arabia. That's a huge damage to what we consider could have been a better message to these countries, right? When these idiots, half of Trump supporters, is it half? I don't know, are coming and saying, oh yeah, there's fraud in elections and elections have been stolen in the United States. Yeah, this is like, okay, yeah, even in the United States, like elections are a joke. So what are the chances that we're going to have proper elections in Iran? So like, again, all of this hope for democracy, all of this symbolism, oh, like, yeah, in France, burning the flag is illegal. So I guess freedom of speech is not something, even in France, they, freedom of speech is limited. So I guess there's a limit everywhere. So again, the influence of these cultures on each other and these values on each other is very, very significant. And this is an example of that, right? A movie that is a celebration of anti-authoritarianism coming from a mindset that is American, which is, again, rooted in a mindset that is French, because it's Enlightenment values that had a huge impact on American values. Eventually is now making it all the way comes to Thailand, and people use this movie as a symbol of their protest. Like that's how ideas travel, and that's how ideas affect each other. So yeah, so when Norway all of a sudden comes, and we had a live stream just like 12 hours ago, and we got pissed out from that Norway has these limitations of freedom of expression. We're like, yeah, great job, Norway. You have these laws in your book, which is now going to be used as an excuse for authoritarians in more problematic countries.
Because trust me when I say that Thai people have no shortage of reasons to protest. We're talking about one of the most authoritarian countries in the world. Thailand's political system is a hybrid between absolute monarchy, theocracy, and military dictatorship. Sounds fun, right? In fact, the Thai royal house is the richest in the world, surpassing even the petro-monarchies, and it has far more power than any European monarchy. And you're probably thinking, come on, Grant, if they're so authoritarian, how is it possibly have so much tourism? How is it possible that there are so many digital nomads who go there to live? Cities like Bangkok and
Okay, by the way, if you manage to get this level crowd over here, I've been here many times, and it's crazy. Like, you would not be able to, like, what hour did these people go? I want to, like, is this during COVID time? Because you would not be able to get this low level crowd. Like, when I went there, like, you getting pictures like this is really difficult at this temple. There's too many people. Maybe this is COVID time.
Who go there to live. Cities like Bangkok and Chiang Mai are trendy
Yeah, Bangkok? You mean Bangkok?
destinations for digital nomads, which, for those who don't know, is people who work online who could live anywhere in the world and who choose to live in Thailand. And yes, Thailand can be a fantastic country for a Westerner. But if you are Thai, you might not think so.
Thai man faces lengthy jail term for
Yeah, look at this. Armin is a Western puppet. Okay, buddy. Very wise words.
sarcastic remark about King's dog. Telegraph.
Look at here's a Piku. How dumb do you have to be? Is this like a troll? Like right after I say I criticize Trump for banning the burning of flags, and how half of Trump supporters are idiots who believe that the election was fraud, I get a comment like Armin is a Western puppet. And how I said, like, this is why when countries like United States support Saudi Arabia, how damaging that is to the world as a whole and the values that we want to promote. Then you guys, like, this is why I think like people are this dumb. Like, people are just dumb. I don't know. They're either trolls or just dumb.
To give you an idea, Thailand...
Oh yeah, like look at that news article. Thai man faces lengthy jail term for sarcastic remark about King's dog. Yeah, not even this dude went to jail, a long jail sentence, not even for criticizing the king. They were like, what are you in for? Like, I criticize the king. Yeah, oh yeah, the king. I get nope, not the king, not the king, the king's dog. I'm in jail for many years because I made a comment, a sarcastic comment about the king's dog. Wow.
Sarcastic remark about King's dog. Telegraph.
To give you an idea, Thailand has the 4th largest prison population in the world, just behind Turkmenistan, Cuba, and, of course, the United States. And just a side note here, yes, the United States has the largest prison population in the world. But we've already talked about that here on Visual Politic before. The irony of the freest country...
The freest country in the world has the highest per capita. Yeah, as actually China is number 1, but per capita, I think it's the United States.
In the world, locking up the most people. The point is that, compared to Thai prisons, those in the United States look like 5-star resorts. And, as we'll see later, it's very easy to end up in a Thai prison. And all this explains such intense protests as this one.
Thailand protests. Thousands rally for 3rd straight day despite government ban. BBC.
However,
by the way, we gotta get to like God, kings, and stuff. Don't worry, okay?
none of this news is going to attract much attention. In previous Visual Politic videos, we have talked about Thai politics, and if there is one thing that characterises this country, it is the regime changes. To give you an idea, since 1932, Thailand has suffered an average of 1 coup d'etat every 4 years. Regime changes are so commonplace in this country that they don't even make the news anymore. However, these protests are special, and maybe, just maybe, this time we will see real regime change. Pay attention, because today's video has everything. Economics, living gods, and sex. Lots of sex. And even a couple of extra floozies thrown in for good measure. So the question...
Okay, sex tourism in Thailand is really overrated. You really have, trust me, you really have to look to be able to find a good experience. Most of it is just like, meh. Most of it is, yeah. Just like, yeah, most of it is just for the tourists. And it's just like, nope, thank you. No, thank you. What the hell is this? Not a good experience. Yeah.
We're asking today are, what makes these protests so significant? What are the protesters asking for? What is the real problem in Thailand? And why? Why have they adopted the Hunger Games salute as a form of protest? Today, we're going to answer all of these questions. But first, let's take a look at some history.
A divine command.
This is not the first time that we've talked about a theocracy on Visual Politic. In many other countries, such as Saudi Arabia or Iran, religion and politics go hand in hand. However, the case of Thailand goes much further than that.
Identity Crisis is saying Thailand's military is always loyal to the king, even if it's often at loggerhead with the civilian government. Yes. Yeah, they need basically, they would like a good king that just does the king stuff and nothing else, because that's what keeps them in power.
In this case, the Thai king is considered as the direct representation of God on earth. Pure and simple.
So, like, there's no ifs and buts about it, by the way. They're not like, oh, are you like connected to God? Are you like divinely inspired? Are you chosen by God? They're like, no, I'm just God. Like, wait, like symbolically, or like, is this like a metaphor for something? Nope. I'm God. I'm God. I'm just a God. Like, literally. Yep, literally. That's actually what they believe. Do you guys know this about Thailand? They're like, yeah, I'm literally a god. That's their king.
The Thai king is considered as the direct representation of
Like, this is like, so this is not like, I mean, Iran and Saudi Arabia, I mean, they're theocracies and all, but they don't have a god. They don't have a literal god ruling over the country. Like, imagine if like imagine like Saudi Arabia, like, oh yeah, we have Allah ruling here, like, just sits there. Oh yeah, it's I guess as an ex-Muslim, this whole idea of like our king is just literally a god, just like, wait, is this like a movie? No, that's like real history. Like, is this like history? No, that's today.
In this case,
That's today. That's happening right now. Like, so this is not like a like Game of Thrones, or like, is this like a story? No, there's a country right now that they have a god as a king. Oh, okay, that's normal.
the Thai king is considered as the direct representation of God on earth. Pure and simple. In fact, the current king of Thailand is known as Rama X, Rama the 10th. Before him, there was Rama.
Okay, D1, are you serious? Jordan's king is said to be descendant of Muhammad. Half of the like, do you know how insignificant? I know he is, but do you know how many Sayyids do we have? That's not that big of a deal. My grandma was also I'm not joking. My grandma, I would be considered a descendant of the Prophet if my grandpa was a Sayyid, but because my grandma is a Sayyid, I'm not a Sayyid. So yeah, it's not like literally from every 5 kids in my school, one of them was a descendant of the Prophet. It's not a thing, like, allegedly. Katie saying, yeah, true. I think the king is considered a form of Ram. In Buddhism, Ram is previous life of Buddha himself. I don't think it's Ram. I think it's a different god. I think it's, yeah. Yeah, I heard that about the. No, Muhammad's blood is in you. I don't think so. I think people just at some point started making that up. And I don't even know if Muhammad was actually real, to be honest. We could have an episode about that. Do you guys want to have an episode about how historic Muhammad is?
King of Thailand is known as Rama X.
Oh yeah, Rama. Okay, he actually said Rama. I missed that.
Rama the 10th. Before him, there was Rama IX, Rama the 9th, and so on, all the way back to Rama the 1st. Rama is the name given after the coronation and is literally the Thai name for the goddess Vishnu.
Oh, Vishnu. See, it's Vishnu.
To give you an idea, until 1932, Thailand was an absolute monarchy. Since then, there has been a constitution that limits the power of the king. But even so, the monarch still has a lot of power. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a god. Now, however divine they may be,
Whoa, we got 20 rupees. Thank you so much, Sid Harth, for the 20 rupees. Very much appreciated. No, okay, Hussein, that's not the topic of this video. We could have another video about that.
Thai kings are moved by very human passions. King Rama IX, also known by his first name Bohimbol, was crowned when he was 23 years old after someone murdered his older brother, Rama VIII. Now, this all might sound crazy in and of itself, but wait, because you haven't seen anything yet.
Wait, Rama is Vishnu as well, right?
It would be logical to think that Rama...
Yeah, okay. So Rama is the Rama, our Rama is like the first Rama of the avatar of Vishnu, and these are like 8th, 9th. So the first the Rama that we just made a drawing out of, who's making out with Muhammad, that one, Rama, Lord Rama that all the Hindus know, that's like Rama 1, right? And these are like Rama 9, 8, 10. Is that how it works? Yeah, Ram is an incarnation of Vishnu. Buddha himself is the 7th avatar of Vishnu. Is the no, you guys are saying no. Is the propaganda Ambedkar was strongly opposing? Okay, so you guys are saying no, so I got this wrong. Okay, so we have Vishnu. And we have avatars of Vishnu. Is Ram one of them? And Buddha is one of them? And the current king of Thailand is another one? How am I getting this? Vishnu has 10 avatars. Isn't Ram one of them? And isn't Buddha one of them? No, that's not how it works. Well, tell me how it works then. You guys keep saying no, but you're not giving me the correct version of the story. Where's Katie when you need them? Oh, here. Katie is here. Ram is the 7th avatar of Vishnu in Hinduism. Yeah, I know. Buddha is the 9th. Oh, so yeah, I got it right. So Buddha is the number 9. Ram is number 7. In Buddhism, Ram is the previous life of Buddha. Yes. But what about these kings of Thailand? Is he like... They seem to be... They claim to be descendant of Ram. The current dynasty of Thailand is only about 400 years old. Yep.
Rama the Ninth, also known as Lord upon our heads or Lord of Life, was born in Thailand, right? After all, he is the king of the country. Well, that would be a big mistake. Rama the Ninth was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Later, his family moved to Switzerland, where he studied at the university there. So let's take a second just here to imagine that situation. This man, who's living in the West, is out with his Swiss friends, and they ask him, so, what are you going to be when you grow up? And he goes, me? Well, I'm going to dedicate myself to being a deity in Thailand. Come on, lads, let's do some shots. What's more, after so many years of education in the West, Rama the Ninth acquired certain habits. Specifically, he learned to play jazz.
Guys, what you're watching is this a god playing jazz? This is a god playing jazz in Cambridge. This is what you watch. Am I getting this right? So there are people who genuinely believe that what you're watching is a Hindu god that is going to be king of a Buddhist country who is playing jazz in Cambridge. And this is what people actually believe. Am I getting this right? Am I getting this right?
And, in fact, came to compose his...
Okay, the last avatar of Vishnu was Lord Krishna. The next avatar of Vishnu will take birth at a time of great civilization, peril, or so the ideology goes. Buddha isn't an avatar. Okay, you guys are giving me contradictory opinions. So you're saying the last one was avatar of Vishnu was Krishna, and Buddha and Rama were not an avatar. Wait, but Katie up there was saying something else. Where's Katie? Katie was saying Ram and Buddha were the avatars. So maybe get your story straight. The last one was Buddha. Krishna was 8th. Okay.
Own pieces.
Look, he made his own. He composed his own piece.
and, in fact, came to compose his own pieces.
Wow. Look, this is like playing, and this is King playing How High the Moon, and he made this. Do you think he actually thinks like I am God, like, or something, or does he know that this is all nonsense? Does he think like, yeah, I was born in Cambridge, I'm just like doing white people stuff here, but I guess back there's a country that I'm supposed to go back to where some people think I'm God, I guess. But before I go to those idiots, maybe I should I want to stay here and do some white stuff. Is that how it is? Do you think that's what goes in his mind, or does he like genuinely think he's a god? I don't know.
But let's get back to our story. As you can imagine, if the Thai people consider their king to be a god, any offence against the monarchy is blasphemy, or as they call it, crimes of lèse majesté, because this is not a minor issue. Thailand's lèse majesté laws are known to be very generic. That is, it is not clear what counts as blasphemy and what does not.
That's the best kind of blasphemy, by the way, when it's not clear. And like, am I like, what are the rules? Oh, now, guys, this makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense. Now I know, guys, YouTube is ruled by Buddhists, right? This is why you never know why you received a strike. Because they're following the blasphemy laws from Buddhism, because there's no clear lines. So just like in Buddhism, they're like, okay, what's the rules? You'll find out once we give you a jail sentence. I'm like, okay. On YouTube as well, you get a strike, and like, all right, this video got a strike. What did we do wrong? Which rule did we violate? Like, we're not gonna tell you. Okay, which part of the video did I do the violation? We're not going to tell you. Like, okay, how do I avoid this happening again? Like, I don't know, good luck. Like, okay, so I got a strike, and you're not going to tell me why, and you're just going to link me to the community standards, and there's a huge list of things that I could have done wrong, and you're not going to even tell me which one of the rules I violated, and you're not going to even tell me which part of the video got this, and you expect me to do better next time. Like, I thought they were acting like a girlfriend, right? Like, you guys have an experience where your girlfriend is like really mad, and you're like, what's wrong, honey? What did I do wrong? Or like, you should know. Like, you should just know. Like, the fact that you even have to ask that question is the problem. Okay? The fact that you even have to ask what you did wrong, it's itself a problem. So basically that's how YouTube treats you, right? Like, you just figure it out. So that's what I thought YouTube is acting like. But apparently no, it's actually they're acting like this is it's all coming together. So the YouTube is run by Buddhists, and that's why we got a strike as soon as we went after Buddhism. And look, the blasphemy laws, it just matches. Everything is matching. Everything is coming together. Hold on, let's see.
Issue. Thailand's lèse majesté laws are known to be very generic. That is, it is not clear what counts as blasphemy and what does not. The only thing they are clear about is the penalties, which can be up to 15 years in prison. And there are cases that are...
Wow! So you could get 15 years in prison for blasphemy, and you don't know what's blasphemy. Like, oh, you could get 15 years for blasphemy. Okay, how do I make sure that I don't do blasphemy? Like, I don't know. Good luck. Oh my God, this is amazing.
15 years in prison. And there are cases that are, to put it mildly, blasphemy and what does not. The only thing they are clear about is the penalties, which can...
Yeah, the penalty is the only thing they're clear about. What is the crime? That are not clear about it. The punishment, they're absolutely clear about that. Amazing. Wow.
be up to 15 years in prison. And there are cases that are, to put it mildly, totally unreasonable. All the cases I'm going to give you right now are...
Guys, there is no way to do blasphemy rules reasonable. He's saying like he's saying they're totally unreasonable, as if there's a version of doing blasphemy laws that are reasonable.
Are real examples. So pay attention.
Okay, these are real examples. Okay, are you guys ready? Guys, whenever people tell you that Buddhism doesn't have blasphemy laws, like do some BDSM on them. Yes, that's how God works. You have to decode everything yourself. Consensually. Of course. Things that can get you arrested in Thailand, okay?
Translating an unauthorized biography of the king, 2 years in prison.
Translating an autobiography of the king? I thought you would get a reward for that. What?
Unauthorized biography of the king, 2 years in prison. Insulting the king's dog on the internet, 37 years in prison.
37! Did he just say 37 years? No, come on. For insulting the dog of the king? 37? No way. Am I hearing this right?
Translating an unauthorized biography of the king, 2 years in prison. Insulting the king's dog on the internet, 37 years.
37! Woo! 30. Oh, unauthorized biography. Okay. Okay, forget the biography. The dog one is like, holy crap. 37. Okay, I want to be in the meeting. I would give anything to be in the meeting that they came up with the number 37. How did they decide that? Like, did they, like, somebody, like, why not 36 and why not 38? Like, how did they specifically come, like, insulting the king's dog? What is the science and methodology that gets you to what are the brilliant legal minds in Thailand that came to like 37 is exactly not too many years and not too little. That's the perfect amount of punishment for insulting the king's dog. 37 years.
In prison. Throwing black paint over a portrait of the king, 10 years in prison. And hold on, because we haven't talked about the crimes of sedition yet. Watch out for the list of things that can land you in jail in Thailand. Wearing a red shirt, eating
Wait, what? I keep getting distracted by you guys in the live chat. What did it say?
10 years in prison. And hold on, because we haven't talked about the crimes of sedition yet. Watch out for the list of things that can land you in jail in Thailand. Wearing a red shirt.
What? I did that? Nobody told me that. I was in Thailand. Why did nobody warn me about wearing a red shirt?
Eating sandwiches as a form of political protest.
Is this guy trolling us? Eating sandwiches as a form of political protest? What does that mean? Like, I'm eating sandwiches like, okay, this sandwich eating is non-political, okay? Please, I'm gonna enjoy this sandwich right now, and I'm making zero political statements. Please, like, guys, like, how do you make sure that your sandwich eating is not taken up, confused with a political statement? Do you have to like chew it in a specific way? Man, I would be stressed out every time I'm eating a sandwich. Oh my god. Buffering again. Ooh, buffering. Are we back? How are we? Are we good? Is we still buffering? I think we're good now. Buffering. Are we good? Somebody tell me if we're good. We're good? Cool. Marco is saying okay. That means are we good? Yes, good. Okay, good. Cool. We are good. Yes, we're back. Telegraph UK has a list of 8 things for which you can get arrested in Thailand. Eating sandwiches in public is on the top. On the top. Okay, but you have to eat it in a way that doesn't make it seem like you're making a political protest.
Or showing a piece of paper that says, showing papers is not a crime.
Having a paper that says showing papers is not a crime is a crime. That's like Inception level crime.
Pete, these are all real cases that have put real people in real prisons. And
Pyro is saying, I'm going to eat a sandwich in a red shirt with an unauthorized biography of the king while while insulting the royal pub online. I love it. This is the best comment yet. Yeah, this is crazy.
And of course, among these terrible crimes of sedition is the salute from the film The Hunger Games.
Yes. Guys, everyone.
Apparently, in 2014, some protesters started to
Katniss!
use it. The gesture caught fire among young people. Since then, raising 3 fingers like this is a crime in Thailand. And now, many of you may be wondering how it is possible that the Thai people have not risen up against their king before.
I'm wondering why haven't more people told us this? Like, why is this not like international news? Like Katniss Evergreen has become a symbol of protest, anti-authoritarianism in Thailand, and only now I've been hearing about this. Like, why is this not common knowledge everywhere? Again, I would have been backing Thailand protesters a lot earlier if I knew about this.
The monarchy in Thailand has existed for centuries, after all. Well, the truth is that, until a few years ago, the King of Thailand was a really popular figure. To give you an idea, more than 12 million people went to King Bhumibol's funeral to say goodbye to him. And remember that Thailand has 64 million inhabitants.
This was in 2016. Things have changed since then.
That means that on October the 25th, 2017, 1 out of every 6 Thai people dropped what they were doing to go to the Grand Palace in Bangkok to say goodbye to their god king. Even in cinemas, before seeing a movie, Thai people have to stand up and listen to the Royal Thai anthem. Now, I know what you're going to say. If the
It gets... I get these authoritarian... this is just I want to go take a shower. Like, I don't know, it grosses me out. Like, before the movies, guys, I don't know if you guys have, most of you lived in free countries most of your life, right? You haven't lived under authoritarian regimes like I have. But whenever I see this, I just get like, it just brings so much gross memories of like loyalty to the nation and the great leader and all. I just want to puke. I want to puke so badly. Oh my god, it's just so gross. Like standing for the national anthem and our leader is gonna save us, and oh my god, so gross. It's just so disgusting. I get such like this rat. I just want to be like, ew. I just want to pour Purell over my monitor right now. I don't know why I have this allergic reaction to fascism. It's just like all this tendency. It's not just like, yeah, fascism bad, authoritarian bad. It's just that every time I see even just like the habits and just like the smell of it, it's just like, oh my, it's just like the worst. It's just the worst taste in my mouth. Even the symbolism, even they do it all. They all sound and look and act the same way as well. And whenever you see it, you're like, yeah, I know what this is. Ew, I know. I've seen this before. I lived under this before, and it's just like, ew, gross. And all this like the face. You know what? It's not the grossest part. It's not the I know the worst. These are the bad parts. Okay, the parts that everybody could know, like, yeah, that's bad. It's like the prison sentences and the torture and the lack of freedom and all that. Yeah, but and all of that is bad, and we should condemn. But you know what is the the part that is just the most cringe? Yeah, the cringiest part is the fake love. It's just this whole pretend that let's think like, oh, it's like we're so in love with the king or the great leader, or like, oh, this dust is like gold, like every single part of this country. I just want to stick my dick in the earth and make love to this country. I just love it. Oh my god, the flag gives me an erection. The flag gives me an erection. Like all that stuff. Like, ew, like, get the hell out of here with this. Oh god, I don't know. I hate it so much. You know what? I hate it so much that when I'm having sex and I need to last a bit longer, I just think about authoritarian regimes, and that just gives me like at least another 20 minutes. It gives me at least another 20 minutes, okay?
Monarchy is so popular in the country. Why do they have so many coups? Well, let's take a look at that right now.
Marco is saying, exactly, pretending that we live in heaven and acting like morons. I hated it so much. Yes, me too. Pro sex tips, yes. Oh, guys, I love this part of I love the floating markets. I love the floating markets in Thailand. I hate, okay, they used to be so much better. Now they're just like, every single one of them are like each other, okay? It used to be so much better, like the non-touristy floating markets. You get on a boat and there people are cooking and there's food and there's spices and there's like, you feel like you went back in time. But now there's the touristy ones, it's just like souvenirs. And like, it's just too touristy, okay? You just go from one of them and like, okay, these are some souvenirs I could buy for people that I don't care about. And then the next one, souvenirs again, exactly the same items as the previous one. And the next one, same souvenirs. You all look like each other. Where are the spices? Where are the food? Where's the fruits? I mean, they should get rid of the souvenir shops and just make them all with the food and the smell and the cooking and the spices and the fish. That should be the markets. What is like, yeah, see, look at this one. This is like, no, actually, this is fine. This one is like souvenirs, okay? Now, half of them are just souvenirs now. Like, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to buy a souvenir, I would have bought it in the first 20 that I saw. I don't understand why you think now the 22nd souvenir shop, all of a sudden, like, oh, yeah, I would like to buy an elephant with a Thailand written on it. I wasn't convinced the first 20 times I saw it, but now I'm gonna do it. Okay, just bring back the foods, bring back the cooking. Like, okay, so this is why when you want to go to a floating market in Thailand, you pick the less touristy ones. Okay, I'm just giving you some pro tips.
A dictatorship every 4 years.
One of the main advantages of democracy is that it allows for the change of power without bloodshed. Instead of spending money on weapons for a civil war, candidates spend it on electoral materials. Well, in the absence of democracy, the opposite is true. In Thailand, candidates spend as much on weapons as they do elsewhere on advertising. Thailand has suffered 19 coups since 1932. Of these 19, 12 were successful and another 7 were not. All these coups d'etats follow a similar pattern. A faction of the army organizes the coup d'etat, and it is the king who decides whether he wants to support it or not. The loser has to go into exile, and the winner becomes the country's dictator for a few years. Usually about 4. I mean, come on, they're basically like elections, but only one person has the vote, and that person is the king. Some of these coups have been really violent. For example, in 1973, several students demonstrated against the military government of the time. 77 students were massacred and 850 were seriously injured in the protests.
Oh,
That
look
same-
at him. Look, this is a face of regret. This is the person that was hoping something for his country, wanting to make things better. And now he's wondering if it was all worth it. This is a face filled with confusion, fear, and regret from somebody that sacrificed everything to just make lives better for some other people. That's just all of those feelings in one picture.
night, the king announced that the military government had to resign. Years later, the dictator Thanom Kittikachorn was exiled. However, other coups were much more peaceful. For example, the 1957 coup lasted just a few hours. In this case, General Sarit Thanarat sent his loyal troops to take over the most important military facilities. He was supported by a large group of civilians who were protesting in the streets. Hours later, this man became Thailand's new prime minister. The former leader went into exile in Europe and returned to the country 6 years later to become prime minister again. So it seems that in Thailand, military dictatorships come and go, but one thing remains, and that thing is the monarchy.
The god.
And you may be wondering, but how can the people there support this system? Well, one fairly convincing answer is the economy. With or without a lack of freedom, Thailand is one of the richest countries in the region.
You know where this is going. You know where this is going. The reason why the protest, because guys, as long as people's lifestyles keep improving, people are like, yeah, I could do without some freedom. Okay? But if you keep taking people's freedom away, you better improve their lifestyle constantly, because as soon as there's a stop in that progress, people are gonna be like, you know, that freedom that we weren't asking before, we want a tiny bit of that. Okay, so you have to, if you can't keep improving their lives, then they're gonna start asking for other things. Okay, people around the world are willing to be like, yeah, you know, we're not the freest country in the world, but hey, lives are better. Our life is better than 5 years ago. Okay, so, but that's a very risky bargain for the government, for authoritarian governments, because you better keep that up forever. The smallest hiccup in this progress is going to make people like, excuse me, may I speak to the manager of freedom, because we lack freedom. Anybody who's the person that is handing out freedom, we would like some rights, please. We were promised rights. And then they're going to be like, yeah.
As a comparison.
So again, so what's happening? So we're probably getting this whole thing is probably going to be blamed on COVID, right? Oh, wait. Forming a military dictatorship in a computer game is also illegal in Thailand. So what? So if you're playing a strategic game, you should make sure you don't make a military dictatorship in the computer game. That's amazing. That's amazing, Thailand.
The GDP per capita, in parity with purchasing power, is around $18,000. That of the Philippines is less than half, $8,500, and in China, it's $17,000. While many parts of China still do not have modern hospitals, Thailand has public health. Just to give you an idea, while their Vietnamese neighbours were coming out of the famines in the late 1980s, the Thais had the largest automotive and hard drive factories in the region, not to mention being a real tourist powerhouse. In 2018, they were the 10th most visited country in the world, far above Japan or Greece.
Bangkok is the most visited city in the world, I think.
So how can Thailand have such a relatively developed economy with such a dreadful political system? Well, mainly for two reasons. Its currency, the baht, is one of the most stable in the world, and Thailand has always had good relations with the West, particularly with Japan. So now you'll say, so what's changed now, Grant?
Wait, particularly Japan?
Why are these protests so important now? Well, listen up.
Do you see that? Even she did the three. Look at that. Look at the defiance. You know, this is actually out of character, because in Hunger Games, the people who dressed up like this were not the ones that were doing the rebellion.
The middle income trap.
In October 2016, the beloved leader King Armin IX died in hospital at the age of 88.
Look at this. It's so gross. Shut up. Go home. Go home. What are you doing? Look at this. Hey, a great leader, Dad. Oh my God. You would cry like this for your own family members. This is so gross. Puke be upon all of you.
In a country so dependent on a single person, the death of the king is a time bomb. But in this case, the country was on the verge of approving a new constitution through a referendum. As you can imagine, it was a referendum where the army told the citizens which way to vote. Because? Well, just because that's what Thailand is like. In this case, in the absence of a king, the military junta put a senate in place and announced free elections. In other words, as free as they can be in Thailand. Basically, the army would supervise the process, but at least opposition parties would be able to run.
Ooh, it's the first opposition party ever. Woo, look at that smile. Jesus Christ. Holy crap. Have you ever seen a smile that big? This is this. This is like, woo, we have opposition in Thailand. This is the smile of the first opposition party. Like, wow, we could actually like have some freedoms here. Look at that smile. Jesus Christ. Have you guys ever seen a smile this big? This is like, I've only seen smiles like this in like cartoons. Holy crap. Like, I didn't know mouths could stretch that wide. Like, holy crap. It's okay. Yeah. I guess having a full-on dictatorship and then having the first opposition party after forever will get you like unnatural levels of smile. Like, what the hell? Yeah, you've never ever seen that. Jesus, like, yeah. yeah, like the Joker. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this in real life. God damn. I didn't know mouths could stretch like that. Actually, I did know mouths could stretch like that.
And what happens when you allow opposition political parties to appear? Well, surprise, surprise, new opposition parties emerge. For the first time in decades, Thailand's parliament had a democratic opposition party with a major presence. We are talking about the Future Forward Party, founded by Mr. Thanatorn Juangurunguranaket? Juangurunguranaket. I'd like to apologise formally here to all the people of Thailand, although, let's be honest, I don't think I'm going there anytime soon. Anyway.
Wait, why? Wait, does this mean doing his video, he can't go to Thailand? Because I'm going to go back to Thailand.
This is a formation that proposes a change in the constitution that limits the powers of the king, guarantees free elections and human rights. And in the March 2019 elections, they got 18% of the vote, which is not bad considering that there are more than 7 major parties that make up the parliament. In fact, Future Forward was left with a third of the political power. As you can imagine, the Lord is one of the most influential leaders right now in Thailand. And by the way, the party's leader is also known in Thailand for being the son of one of the biggest millionaires in the country. Far from working against him, this only reinforced his image. Being able to live a life of luxury and without worries, he decided to risk everything to improve the country. And
so people were like, this guy had it all made and he could have just lived life comfortably. He's a billionaire, but he's now taking a major sacrifice to lead an opposition party. So they respect him even more, even though he's like even though he's a billionaire. People are like, wow, you didn't have to do this and you're still doing this. So that's impressive.
And believe me, the risk is real.
Wow, I admire this. Look at this guy. This guy is like a billionaire and he didn't have to do anything. And now he's like really risking his entire life for the sake of his country. Like he had everything he wanted and he's risking it. Like mad respect to this guy.
His party was banned. He faces
man, never mind. His party was banned. He faces jail, but Thailand's
Thanatorn.
What the hell is this word? Like, look at this. Who can pronounce? Like, look at this, guys. This is like a last name. This train wreck is this train wreck a last name? Should I even try? Like, how it just goes on. It just keeps going on forever. Oh my! Are you serious? Who came? Juang Grun Gruang Gikit. Yeah. It just never stopped. Look, half of this title is this guy's last name.
And he faces jail. But Thailand's Thanatorn
Juang Grun Gruang Gikit. How did I do?
Duang Grung Grakits.
Oh, Guang Grun Grakit. Guang Grakit. Hi, Mr. Guang Grun Grakit. Hi, Mr. Wang Grun Kit. Wang Grun Kit. Wang Grun Kit.
Vows to fight on.
Hold on, how did he say it? Mr.
Is real.
His party was banned. He faces jail. But Thailand's Thanatorn Duang Grung Grakits vows to fight
Guang Grun Grakit. Grun Grakit. Hi, Mr. Grun Grakit.
on CNN.
The news you've just heard could mean the end of the Future Forward Party. Nevertheless, many things have changed in Thailand.
So they were like, should we try an opposition party? They were like, sure, let's give it a try. Like, oh, yeah, no, change your mind. You go to jail. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, opposition party. We just tried it for a little bit, but I guess not.
The first is the economy. Remember I told you that Thailand was one of the most prosperous countries in the region? Well, it's true. It was.
COVID. It's COVID.
While all the countries of Southeast Asia are growing at a rate of 5 or 6 or 7%, Thailand barely exceeds 2% growth. In economics,
you know why? Because the other ones probably had tourism, but less reliant on tourism, right? Thailand was like all in, like just like with like 99.9% tourism. No, I'm just kidding.
this has a name, the middle income trap.
Yeah, Mr. Rocket is a good name and nickname for it. Yes, Hossein, good job. Yes. The last part of his name had Rocket. Mr. Rocket. He's Mr. Rocket. And it doesn't matter anymore. His story is over, by the way. So I don't think we're gonna hear from him anymore.
That is, there are many countries that manage to escape from poverty and reach what we
No, by the way, I'm not being serious.
call average income. However, they do not manage to make the leap to being a wealthy country. Countries like Brazil, Colombia, and Thailand seem to have stagnated due to this situation. If you remember, one of Thailand's main industries is tourism. It accounts for
COVID?
more than 12% of the country's GDP. And what is the sector most affected by the coronavirus? Exactly.
Yep.
Tourism. After tourism, another of its main industries in this country is the automotive industry. Well, check this out.
Okay, so number one industry in Thailand is tourism. Number two is automobile industry. Oof, guys. This means that, oh no, never mind. I was going to say green energy is going to hurt Iran and Saudi Arabia and also authoritarian regimes and also Thailand apparently, but then I realized like it's a car industry. You could make green cars.
General Motors to lay off all 1,500 plant workers in Thailand.
To go to where? Vietnam? Vietnam.
Following sale of its factories. Reuters.
We're not just talking about General Motors either. Triumph, the motorcycle manufacturers, have also closed plants in Thailand, and many others are threatening to do so.
To go to where? To Vietnam? Are they replacing it with Vietnam?
In total, car production in Thailand has dropped by 30% in 2020, and its GDP has fallen by more than 12%. All of this translates to thousands of people.
Guys, I've been eating a lot of these food in the streets, and you did just be very careful, okay? You gain a lot of weight eating street food in Thailand. I ate like some of their like sweets. I watched them make it. The lady that was making it, she took like half a giant bag of sugar and she just dumped it into the entire thing. I was like, wait, is that what I'm eating? Like a giant bag of sugar and she dumped it in this thing that she was making. I'm like, how come I'm alive?
People being unemployed. However, this is not the only thing that has changed in this country.
Yeah, but it's extremely tasty. Jeez, so tasty. But be prepared. Be prepared to come back home with at least 10 extra pounds.
Beginning of this video, I promised you sex, and here it is.
Yay. I mean, wait, is it from you?
Confined with 20 concubines.
Yeah, that is how the current king of Thailand has spent the confinement. In a mansion, in Germany, with 20 concubines. And I know what some of you will say. How do you know that all 20 of these women were concubines?
They're not shy about it because they're not shy about it. So, guys, he didn't tell us if those car jobs went to Vietnam, but my guess is Vietnam. If anybody knows, let me know. I guess it would be Vietnam. Yes, a bad country for a diabetic person. Did you eat scorpion? Yes, that's where I had it. That's where I had my scorpion.
What if they were just his servants, or even his friends? Well,
Nope, the concubines are just outright concubines. They don't. There's no shying. They say it. It's not like a secret. Like, oh, these are the maids, but we know what happens behind the background, and he sleeps with his maids. Like, no, they're officially my concubines.
the truth is that King Vajiralongkorn has had a long and well-known relationship with the concubines.
Thai playboy king anoints lover as his official concubine.
So these are like my I have unofficial concubines. This is like a government title. In Thailand, being a concubine, like, it's an official government position. Like, you're officially my concubine.
The Times.
Other kings would say that
Katie's saying Thailand isn't very sexually repressive, right? No, not at all. I mean, depends on what you mean by sexually repressive. I guess in some ways, yes, very extremely. Okay, so when it comes to sex being seen as taboo, then no, Thailand is not regressive at all. Repressive. But when it comes to women empowerment, then Thailand is like light years behind. So depends on what area of sex we're talking about, right? I guess when it comes to men satisfying their urges, then Thailand is like, yep, nothing. There's nothing. Yeah, that's completely. No, there's no taboos around that. But I think when it comes to women taking control over their own lives and stuff, then I think they're behind on that. Talking about sex, not showing women's skin. Yeah, they're not behind on that. But again, when it comes to women having control over their sex lives, I guess they're behind on that.
they have a collaborator or a special friend. But in Thailand, they call things by their name. The official concubine. It's as simple as that. There are even videos on WikiLeaks where you can see a lot. In fact, you can see everything about this king. Of course, on Visual Politic, we're not interested in judging everyone's sex life. As long as he isn't breaking any laws, this man can do whatever he wants.
Well, what if he is the law?
And believe us, he does. Now remember that he's not just a king though. He is also Rama the 10th. Nothing less than a god. You see, during his reign, the previous king, Rama IX, had earned the respect of the Thai people. In such a conservative society, Rama IX represented righteousness and discipline. His son is just the opposite. He's been divorced 3 times, has 4 illegitimate children.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, look at this. You know, this is the position of woman in Thailand. When the highest official woman in the entire country, this is how she has to address the king, on her knees. I mean, this is all fun and games in the bedroom, but in anywhere else, I don't think this should be acceptable. I mean, look at this. This is like, yeesh. Like, look at this. Is this not? This is like, yeah. This is his lover. This is like the highest position. This is like royal. She's like royalty. She's royalty, and she has to address the king on the ground like this. That's like, if. In other words, it's classic Thailand. It is classic Thailand is repressive towards female sexuality. Yes. Yeah, everyone has to prostrate before the king in Thailand, but even the queen like this, I don't know. I mean, I know she's not technically. I don't know. I just get some. This is gross. I mean, there's no woman ever that you have to do this to. So the idea is that the woman's head cannot be looking over the man's head. But nobody like this. Look, this guy over here also has to be like this. Everybody has to be like this, right? But again, it's just the king, though.
And has appointed his
I mean, you would think like, okay, like let's have this rule for everybody, but not my goddamn wife or something, right?
dog as commander of the Air Force. If all of this were not enough, King Rama X does not even live in Thailand. In 2016, he bought a mansion in Bavaria in southern Germany and wants to rule Thailand from there.
This guy, this king of Thailand doesn't really like Thailand that much. He's like, can I just be like a king in Germany? And like, I don't like Thailand. Can I just be like, do my king stuff? Can I just rule over Thailand from outside of Thailand?
In 2016, he bought a mansion in Bavaria in southern Germany and wants to rule Thailand from there.
Oh, Bavaria.
In fact, this is one of his conditions for approving.
We have some crazy people in the live chat. Fazan is saying, Armin Navabi, you are a violence person. You hate Muslim religion. Why? Space, ... No space where we actually needed a space. I think your family love Islam in Iran. Very normal person, Farzan. Very logical, very sane comments. Yes, I do not know how to respond to that because the level of insanity has left me speechless. Hossein is saying, if you're at the level of megalomania, then you aren't gonna treat your wife anything like a wife. Yes, exactly. I feel sick. Some life this guy got. Yes, exactly.
The 2017 constitution. They had to let him reign from Germany. And I know what you're thinking now. What if this king simply doesn't want to reign? I mean, that could be the case. He wants to get away from politics and live his own life. But the reality is quite the opposite.
2 weeks ago, the Thai king issued a royal decree placing 2 army units under his direct control, rather than under the normal military hierarchy. World Politics Review.
Oh yeah, that's right. Rama X is taking steps to restore the absolute monarchy in Thailand. He is gaining more and more control over the army. In the 2019 elections, he banned his sister from running for prime minister. And that's not the worst thing. You see, until 2017, the assets of the Thai royal house were managed by the Crown Property Bureau, an institution controlled by the Ministry of Finance. To give you an idea, these assets comprise something like a sovereign fund, with investments in local companies. For example, the Thai royals are the main shareholders of one of the largest banks in the country, the Siam Commercial Bank. Well, the first thing that Rama X did, as soon as he came to the throne, was to take full control of this office. It is estimated that the institution controls $40 billion that are now solely in the hands of the king. And it doesn't end there. In addition to that, his salary has been raised. From 2021, the Royal Thai House will receive more than $1.1 billion from the government. And all this for ruling from his mansion in Germany.
Who is this person that we keep coming back to? They seem to be like a pretty cool group of people that are like protesting. And they also like, I don't know what this is. Again, this is very much unlike Hunger Games, but I want to know like why are they like famous or something?
In other words, Thailand has all the...
Okay, lady. Guys, do you know why I paused here? Do you guys know why I'm angry all of a sudden? Is it just me or is it the rest of you as well? I just had to pause. I know this has nothing to do with this topic, but I'm angry. Are you guys angry? Is anybody angry? Yes. Yes. What is up with this? Yes, guys. Yes, exactly. Guys, you guys get it. What is... I don't know. Oh my god, yeah, you all of it. Yes, you all of you agree. What is up with that? Do these people think viruses like how do these people don't understand like how viruses like do you think they just like the viruses are gonna be like, oh, I guess we got trapped, we can't come out of the mouth, like I guess we're gonna give up then. There's no other way for us to go out or in. Like, what do they think these holes? Oh my god! I have some thoughts about this, but I think it would be illegal for me to share that with you. I think I would get like banned from YouTube indefinitely if I shared my opinions about this with you.
Ingredients for a popular revolt: economic malaise, a corrupt elite that has lost the trust of the majority of its citizens, and a leader, Mr.
Tanaton Jungrung Rongkit,
capable of bringing together all of this discontent. And what, might you wonder, are these protesters asking for? Their main demands are to put an end to crimes against the royal leader, to force the crown to be transparent with its assets, and...
Okay, yeah, maybe she was speaking and her mask came down. Yeah, but that's the most important time to make sure your mask is like on when you're speaking to someone else. Her mask needs to cover her nose. So angry, yes. I mean, I get less angry when I see somebody wearing no mask at all. I don't know why. I know doesn't make any sense. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I get more angry when somebody's just wearing a mask and their nose is showing. Oh yeah, Soha is saying in Islam, Muhammad said that if prostration wasn't only for Allah, I would have ordered the woman to prostrate to her husband. Yes, Soha, very interesting. Yeah, very relevant information.
To prohibit the king from instigating coup d'etats. These might seem like very modern.
Okay, is this the same woman? Okay, she's not talking. Look at this. Is this the same woman or is it just chubby woman that like I don't know what's happening? Okay? What is happening? Look at this. This is not I don't know. Looks like the same woman. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is not she's not even speaking, so she doesn't have an excuse. By the way, she's cute. Oh my god, look at this one. This one, like I gave up completely on her mask. But again, see? You see this? This makes me less angry than this. I know it doesn't make any sense, but this doesn't piss me off because this woman, she's like, at least like, you know what? I don't give a crap about a mask. But this woman, she's like, I believe this works. So for some reason, I think this is dumber than that one. Because she just gave up. She's like, I don't care. But she thinks that this is doing something, and it's not.
Moderate claims. But remember that we are talking about what is perhaps the most monarchical country in the world.
Okay, like this person, these people completely have given up.
And that's why it's so incredible that it's only now that we're starting to hear things like this.
Thai protesters call for end of monarchy on King's birthday, Deutsche Welle.
Keep in mind that we are not talking about just one or two protests. The demonstrations in Thailand began in February 2020, and the King's birthday was the end of July. In July 2020, many more people started to take to the streets. In squares, in universities, there have been protests in all of the main cities. So far, there have been no deaths, but there have been several attempts by the army and the police to suppress the protests. However, the demonstrators continue to protest. So now the question is over to you. Do you think that these protests will create real change in Thailand? What do you think of the Thai monarchy and of monarchies in general? Do you think it's an outdated institution or perhaps one that still has a place in our time? And will I ever get to go to Thailand? Leave your answers in the comments.
Let me show you guys something. I don't know. I thought he's going to cover this, but he didn't. When was it? I want to show you guys something happened in 2015. Did you guys see this? Hold on. No, this was earlier. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this. Did you guys know this? This happened in 2015. Thai Crown Princess Poodle Air Chief Marshal Fufu has been cremated. Okay, let's read this again slowly one more time. Okay. Thai Crown Princess Poodle Air Chief Marshal Fufu. Okay, so you're like, how are these two related? Yeah, the Air Chief Marshal was the poodle. They made the poodle. He made this dog Air Chief Marshal, like officially. Officially, he loved this dog so much. This dog that they made him Air Chief Marshal. Puddle. The king's dog is the commander-in-chief of the Thai military forces now. Really? The new dog is the commander-in-chief of Thai's military forces? Death has prompted surge in coded social media comments on the subject in a country where it's illegal to openly discuss royal succession. Look. Fufu is finished. This is Fufu. Wait, so the new dog has a bigger role than the old dog? Guys, by the way, these positions are not like they didn't. It's not just like for fun. They are this official, like on the books, on the law. The commander-in-chief of Thai military forces. It's the king's dog. The cutest air chief. And this is the only reason is that this guy is so obsessed with his dog that he just wanted to like. Oh, you're not certain? Okay. Amazing. Very normal. This man is a child. So remember, if you're American, by the way, if you ever think like, oh yeah, you think like you have any monopoly over man-childs running for president or something like that, just remember that there are people out there that have a king who is supposed to be a god who doesn't want to live in your country and who wants to put his dog in charge of the military. And if you criticize the dog, you get 37 years in prison. Just so that you have some perspective, okay, over how good you might have it. Just so, and this is not even authoritarian level for to get in the news. Like it's not like Saudi Arabia or Iran, right? Okay, so this is like just like your average authoritarian, like okay, just for some context. Anyways, we gone on for too long, so I'm gonna end this here, especially given that I have to go respond to the call of nature. Islam versus Buddhism is basically cat people versus dog. Islam versus Buddhism is basically cat people versus dog people. Wow. Okay. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Cats are way more evil than dogs. If it would keep a dog as military commander, the dog will be like. The leader of my army is now my pit bull. She shall restore the caliphate and bring back Karbala. Wait, you have a pit bull, Hussein? All right, guys, I really have to go. I'm going to pee so badly. I need to go. And by the way, guys, every time you guys tell me that I'm sharing too much information, I'm going to share more information. Just so you know. All right. Talk to you guys later. Okay. And just subscribe. Just subscribe. Just do it. Just do it. I don't have to. Why do I have to give you reasons every time? You know you need to subscribe. Half of you watch these videos without subscribing. You're insane. You're insane. Go speak to a professional. Seriously, like, I don't know what else to tell you. Why are half of you watching these videos without subscribing? You see the kind of content we make here. It's good for you. You become more informed. Just do it. Subscribe.